All right.
Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Makikipagkwentuhan tayo ulit with a comics creator. This time, one of the founders of Komikon, creator of BEERKADA. One of yung mga unique na creators natin that have been self-publishing for almost 2 decades na. Tama ba? Si Sir Lyndon Gregorio.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Yun. Sir, baka mas gusto mong ipakilala yung sarili mo with our audience. I mean, baka hindi na tayo kilala ng mga mas bata natin.
Yeah. Sige. Wait. I'll get the latest box. Hi, I'm Lyndon. Talaga naman. Yan.
Yeah. That's his new book.
Ang blow ko lang ha. Hi, I am Lyndon. I am the creator of BEERKADA. This is my latest work, book number 19, Zodiacada. It is a collection. This is the latest collection I've released last Indicate this year. I am the creator of BEERKADA and co-founder of Komikon with John and Sherry and my wife and Ariel and Patrick Chumko. It's a story. BEERKADA is a story of friends since college in real time. They were in college back in '98, and now they've been friends for since then, mga 24 years.
24 years.
24 years.
The
entire generation has passed, and I'm quickly from up and coming to not one of the freshest ones. Yeah. So
When
industry regulars.
When I met si Sir Lyndon, he was yung up and coming na cartoonist during that time. That was in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
And during that time, even then, nagsi-self-publish siya nung kanyang compilations, which was parang different from what the other cartoonists were doing. Well, Sir Paul did try it, pero as far as I know, si Sir Lyndon, yung from the start talaga, self-published lahat. And he was experimenting then with how it is gonna be produced. I think he tried a lot of other methods aside from yung offset. You also did riso. You also did a mix of offset and riso. You also did
photocopy. In covers, printed somewhere, yung content somewhere else.
It's an interesting mix if people are looking for self-publishing to go into self-publishing then is to have is to mix yung suppliers, because sometimes it will be a lot more affordable for you instead of for example kasi one supplier could be printing a digital colored copy for a higher amount, but if you could find a supplier that can provide you with a more affordable price, you could have your covers done there. Then you could have your interiors done somewhere else. Then just look for it's either you could actually put together the book or you could find another supplier that can put it together for you.
Film and store it, yeah. Ang advantage ng self-publishing is yung inventory. You're not stuck with 1,000 copies, especially pag at book 19. That's 19 books times 1,000. That's a lot of inventory to keep. If you can just do it na mga 10, 20 at a time, mas manageable ang inventory. You're not hampered down with cost, with storage problems. Print on demand, yun. You print by batch on demand. So the money just goes back to the books. Controlled. So your your money doesn't go out. A lot of it doesn't go out. It's manageable. The money just goes back and goes around and around in cycle. Great.
Yeah. And Sir Lyndon has experience with it. Like he said, 24 years na niya ginagawa. And
24
it's
years,
your
no?
and it's your primary source of income, right?
The primary source is yung income ko from Philstar, then
Ah.
additional income, bonus income ko.
Yeah.
Yung mga
But
projects ko. The books, one set, regular, people who were fans since they were grade school, who were starting to read, go to school, now have income after, going through college and graduating, have a job, now can go back and buy the entire set. Which only comes from me, exclusive from me. So yay. No? Yeah. So no 10% royalty fee. It's, the royalties, all income goes back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. That really works. So not just the regular fans that since the start, but yung mga new fans who discovering the work, fans since they were in grade school, and now we're able to purchase in the set.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Also, baka na-miss namin, BEERKADA is being published daily by Star.
Philippine Star, yes.
Since the beginning, right?
Since the beginning, yeah.
So it's 2 decades.
2 decades. The story there, of course, in the late 90s, up and coming cartoonists would try applying the top 3 broadsheets or yung mga tabloid, which apparently sell more than the broadsheets. Pero yun nga, I tried for the top 3 and one responded positively, si Miguel Belmonte of Vice President then of the Philippine Star. So yeah, I've been with them ever since and I'm very grateful for the support.
Ayun, we could actually discuss that kasi maraming comic creators, cartoonists in particular, that have no idea how to get into broadsheets or our papers. They think parang they have to join a group or know someone inside or those sort of things.
Well, theoretically, I don't know, in 2021, broadsheets, all the young people are online. So the people who buy broadsheets, yung mga older people, my age, my generation. I'm the last na nag-benefited tremendously from the broadsheet.
Si Manny.
Pero ngayon, yung mga new creators, Tarantadong Kalbo, and are just went all out sa online, sa social media, and they succeeded, no? Mga it's their generation. So yeah, I would recommend try first sa social media. Mas direct. Pero yun nga, there's an income. At least there's a steady income that comes from being published a broadsheet. If you can get that work.
Yeah. And yun, di ba? If you are published a broadsheet, it's still your property.
Yes. That's the understand. Still my point. I can do whatever it writes, electronic, post-production, collection.
And
no problem.
It's a good option for creators kasi like I said, it's a way to earn from your own IPs.
Oh, definitely. Ngayon pala, it's only in 2021 and the past few years na content creation turns out to be this gold mine na people especially knock on wood, during the pandemic, people consume content. They can only consume content. They can't go anywhere else. And those who still have income, kept their jobs, would want to spend it to take away the depression from being indoors all the time, being stuck. So they're consuming content, whoever's left. And this is content that has to be readily downloaded and streamed. You can't go outside to get content. Concerts are gone, outdoor music, movies. So all that's left are yung TV, streaming services, mga podcasts, and yung mga digital.
Yeah, digital. Yeah, and diba, owning your own IP opens a lot more doors for you instead of like
Wait.
doing fan art of particular IPs that don't belong to you. Sir Lyndon has um, done businesses licensing yung IP niya for other people actually, di ba?
Yeah. But one of the first successes is yung sa t-shirt project. Yon. I found out that they were getting license from Mango Comics before the early 2000s. So I inserted myself in, no?
This is
Then
yung
you had-
same company that produces spoofs.
Spoofs, yeah.
Mm.
They were spoofs first, then the t-shirt project after once they expanded. So yeah, I submitted my mga ideas ko for based on my characters for original designs, and yun, they really accepted it. But now in 2021, if you can do your own merchandise, then go for it.
Yeah,
Pero
you could also do that.
For t-shirt project, there's also that distribution issue, and if they can do it. But now even distribution is all about yung
online
mga Grab, couriers, no? And you benefit from yung mga promos nila. My wife, who really helps me, co-manager, keeps telling me mga promos right now, 50 pesos off, take advantage of it. Sa Ninja Van right now, indefinitely, 150 pesos Luzon and Visayas. So yun, from 200 to 250, it's down to 150 for any number of books yata. So you take advantage of that.
I think may specific weight pa rin, as in
there's a specific weight.
They have like a small, medium, and large packs. So I guess nandun sa may area na yun.
Yeah, if your items pasok yan. So yeah, I'm studying yung mga yung packaging, which is its own art form na gandahan mo. It's not just an afterthought anymore. So Pinterest discusses all about how the interior of it's a surprise, the unboxing experience.
Yeah, and
your
a lot
packaging has to subscribe to the unboxing experience. So every check open and every taking out has to be a surprise, a delight, well designed. So yun, advantage sa akin yun after being a cartoonist na there's inherent design skills to that. And I'm still using the same Photoshop 6.
6?
Para hindi ako masyadong Adobe. Which is right now legal. Pero it's sufficient for my needs.
Yeah. Me as well. I use the same, like for the last decade, I've been using the same Adobe suite. Because it's legal and it's...
Yeah, it's illegal now. Before it was...
No. I've been using it legally since then. Legally, I've been using it legally since then. That's why I keep still using it, because I can't afford. Well, you can afford newer products right now. Ones, huh? But it's subscription.
The newer ones are just more, other skills and other jobs in design. For what we're doing, the old ones still is sufficient.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, the newer ones are subscription based, and minsan you don't really need most of their services. So it's like a waste of money. So if you have the old one, hopefully they don't like decommission it and find some way to decommission it from your PC.
Fear ko fear ko. There's a way to disable remotely yung mga yung mga tools mo.
So yeah, we jumped ahead a few points from you. Usually what I start with is, how did you start with comics? Were you a comic fan growing up? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was a kid in the early 80s, and my mother took me to the dentist, and besides the dentist there was you can rent comics, local comics. This is a common story pala, it's not just me. So they rented me funny comics, and I read something called Starboy. That's it. And then I got hooked right away, and my mother couldn't afford to rent comics or buy comics, so I had to create my own.
Oh, it's yung story of having no resources to get it, so you you decided to make your own.
Yeah. So yun, the skills were lacking, but the imagination was soaring. Yeah.
So that was when you were a kid. When you were in high school and in grade school, were you making your own comics and were you sharing it with your peers during that time?
I was not sharing it. No, I kept it to myself. More people were skilled sa comics during that time, pero
okay.
they didn't follow through. Ako, I was intent of being it, and already dedicated my life to making comics. I promised myself, pero the skills weren't there yet.
How old were you when you decided that you were gonna do comics?
8 years old yata.
8 years old. So, from then, talagang single-minded na magko-comics ako.
Yeah, that was, nawawala ka. You get lost creating it. Nawawala yung stress. You get absorbed. You don't have any problems. You're taken to another place. You reach your zen. That's for comics. For me, that's comics for me. And I'm thinking if I could make a living out of this, that'll be the best. No? Kaya admire ko si even si yung mga veteran cartoonists for being able to draw even though past the prime of their lives, they're still doing it. That's what I wanted to do.
Pero yung our cartoonists here sa Philippines are more blessed than most of the comics creators, since most of the comics creators industry nag-vanish talaga. Pero at least the cartoonist still had yung daily papers.
Yeah.
I keep talking to a lot of creators na, yun nga, they were there sa tail end ng industry fall. Tapos, nobody really expected it na mangyayari na mawawala talaga siya in a snap. Kasi talagang nawala lang siya.
Yeah, no? Wala, no, I guess.
And yun nga, all their lives, yun lang yung source of income nila. Since it was a real industry that provided for their families, put their children to school, and suddenly, nawala siya.
Nawala, no? People stopped publishing.
At least, the cartoonist had the daily papers, and the daily papers did not stop.
They didn't, no?
Oh, they did not stop publishing local content, diba?
Even now.
They have that option then, diba? They have that option. If you could see yung mga syndicated strips from the US, they have that option na instead of like publishing local, they could just get licensed stuff.
That's right.
Though sabi nga ni Sir Paul, ayaw ni Sir Jess, ni Sir Jess yun dati. Because it was more expensive. So they could just employ mga local creators and it would be a lot affordable for the company.
Oh, I never understood I never found that yung economics. So mas mataas yung bayad from abroad.
I think so. Or baka in the long run it would be more affordable for them since it's gonna be a bulk buy. Diba?
Oh, yeah.
And you won't have any problems with scheduling since you would have all the materials like for a year na.
That's true. Alam ko yata dollars, based on dollars yan. Since, from foreign, tapos you have to abide by the rules. Yeah. Pero yun nga, isa pa local, mga contractuals. It's not a job. There's no benefits. So just you're paid by the So that's the game.
So it's interesting kasi you were planning talaga to become a comic book creator for the rest of your life since you were 8 years old. How did your parents take it?
I kept it secret, no? It's a secret dream. You don't tell Filipino parents that you're gonna be a cartoonist. I became a civil engineer.
So that's why you took up engineering. So that's why you took up engineering in college.
Engineering student, but I never became a civil engineer. By the time I was a civil engineer, the Asian economic crisis hit, and no one was constructing anything. And I took it as a sign from God that maybe it's to take it to follow up with cartooning. And Pugad Baboy was like on his 9th book. by the late 90s. So yeah, he already demonstrated you can make a living out of it. How to collect all the strips for a year, then release it, and then people will buy it.
So, how did you come up with yung first strip mo? I remember you released a different title before BEERKADA. I have that book somewhere.
Dog and Kitten.
Yeah, Dog and Kitten.
Yeah, Dog and Kitten. No, that was a simultaneous. BEERKADA came first, and then I was trying to increase the income. So I got Dog and Kitten published sa Malaya.
So you were trying to like have two strips in two different papers.
Yes. Just so that mag-increase yung aking income.
Wasn't that practice frowned upon ng ibang publishers? Kasi I hear a similar story from Sir Paul that Sir Tonton Young had some problems with that because he was trying to publish another title in a different broadsheet, and then somebody else told him na parang faux pas yung ginawa mo na.
I didn't know it at the time. Pero that was a lot of ako, ang problem ko doon is just releasing two different ideas. So I based I released Dog and Kitten based on my relationship at the time. And when we broke up, there was no more.
There was no more material. So tama-tama lang din na natigil siya. It was enough material for one book.
Yeah, there's enough material for one book.
There was enough material for one book, and for a lot of yung mga younger audience natin, they probably don't know about that book.
I was making Dog and Kitten BEERKADA with PowerPoint at the time, yung mga fonts. I would print out yung the words, then I drew on the paper late afterwards. Because mahina yung aking font, aking typographic
so you weren't like sina Sir Paul that were lettering yung nila.
Lettering, sina Abrera, si Manix, yun lettering yun. I'm left-handed. I think that's what part of the problem. Na hindi ko ma.
So BEERKADA was your first ever strip.
BEERKADA was my first ever strip. You're asking about how I came up with the first strip. I made a booklet since college. Nilistan all the best ideas. I had an org back then, UP Aggregates sa civil engineering. And I was drawing sa logbook yung mga misadventures ng org na yun. And they were laughing because it was about them. So I listed down all the best ideas. Kasi I know I was from Pugad Babo, he was writing about community. Ako, if I was gonna write about anything and write what you know, that writer's adage, write what you know. All I knew back then was yung the college experience. So I had started writing down all the best jokes I made in college. So yun, that became the basis.
Which was kind of funny because since I keep telling this to everyone who's willing to listen that Lyndon was Mannix before Mannix was Mannix. Kasi Lyndon was doing the college scene stories during yung first years of yung pagiging cartoonist ni Lyndon. Pero what he did was he allowed yung characters niya to grow up.
Yeah, that's the difference. Nag-meeting kami ni Mannix one time sa, what do you call that? One of the UP out of open lecture. And the topic for that lecture, for that class was comics. And he said, yun nga, I discussed na in my characters, they're gonna grow up in real time. Tapos napaisip siya because he was still into college then. Doon niya na naisip na, oh no, what will happen once, 5 years when they graduate? Will they still be in school? And it's gonna be harder to write about school, or will they graduate?
I think he skipped that problem by not really following a specific set of characters and just do random stuff na lang about random stuff in college. So but he could always stay there.
That's how he solved it.
But you had a specific set of characters and you let those characters grow up. Meaning, may mga years yung BEERKADA that they were in school, then they were yuppies looking for jobs,
work, starting families,
and then they began starting families. But now most of your strips are like pop culture reference from the old times.
Yeah, after 20 years, no? As in a pandemic, how can you write about real life and real life is just 90% indoors? And then you go out for essential items. But I was forced to, as I'm a father now, so I'm not going out and having, adventures. So I'm raising a child. So the most, character development
yung strips mo would be about yung kids, about raising a kid.
Raising a kid, sina Glenn and si Choppy. Yun sila, they get the character development, raising the kid. Everyone else, to get the best ideas has to be mga pop references.
Mm-hmm. One thing rin about Sir Lyndon that parang laging tumatatak sa isip ko was he was always innovating about merchandising, about his IP, about BEERKADA. He'd always get pins, shirts, almost anything na that he can sell with the BEERKADA logo on it. Lagi siya nakakaisip ng something new.
Yeah, I just observe sa abroad, in-observe ko what they're doing abroad. Kulang pa nga eh. They're doing mga stationery, calendars. Pero dito, people really took off with the sticker concept.
Oh yeah, and one thing din na observe ko and was a great success that followed BEERKADA all through its years was Sir Lyndon developed a community for his fans.
Yeah.
Which is parang magandang idea for those who have already established like a following to cultivate yung fan base mo. I remember me joining a lot of Sir Lyndon's activities for his fans. They used to have meet and greets, not just meet and greets, as in meron silang lunches, meron silang
get-togethers,
bowling tournaments, trivia night. Tapos I said na nag-follow yung success niya all throughout nung BEERKADA is even right now, even if they don't have yung active activities, you would get a BEERKADET. He calls his a BEERKADET. You'd get a BEERKADET from yung olden years or mga mas recent na Comikon that would pass nung booth and they would buy kung ano man yung na-miss nilang BEERKADA.
Yeah. They come out, they stock up. They remember. And they stock up.
And you were doing this before social media became this regular thing.
Yeah. Ang basis before then was yung mga Marvel letters. Yung the people correspond.
Diba? Sir Lyndon was doing this with message boards, mailing lists, and other what internet tools were available to us during those times.
GeoCities, yung website GeoCities, tapos yung e-groups, which became Yahoo groups. No?
Parang also you were one of the first local broadsheet guys that had a website.
Yes,
so
yes.
It was it was not simultaneous, no? You weren't releasing your strips on the day it would be the same as what would be on your site.
No. I had instinct na the broadsheet would frown upon that. You say, why buy the newspaper if you can just It's mga 2 weeks after. Or
2 weeks. So there's a delay. There's a delay.
Pero yun naman.
Kasi yun nga, you would be the perfect creator to talk about some of the questions that I asked from my social media. Kung ano yung gusto nilang mga itanong. And one of the nagbigay ng questions was one of your former BEERKADET, one of the most prominent one nga. Si B.
Si B.
Si B. Yan. B asked, sorry, this needs to be asked. How do I make more money out of making comics? That's an age-old question that every comics creator asks themselves. Do you have an answer for this?
I have an answer for that. First is the realization, the big picture. The big picture is content creation. That's I don't know, the biggest entity that realized that was South Korea, when they realized that when Jurassic Park, one movie, earned like almost $1 billion back then in the 90s. The president then realized now we should boost our content creation, not just movies. If one movie can create 200 million worldwide, then and all the merchandising and licensing $1 billion after, then doesn't it make sense to create content in all forms, to pursue it all forms? And so in 2021, after 3 decades, they're devoting 1% of their GDP to support yung kanilang yung content creation nila under the Ministry of Culture. That's mga $58 billion ng South Korea. That explains the entire the Korean wave And the lesson from there is you can apply it to your own content creations, your own original content. It's yours forever. If you can partner up with it's only about distribution. Partner up with a
it's
big
yours
entity.
forever if you make right decisions. Kasi there would be entities that would, if they see potential in your content, would outrightly buy it from you.
Outrightly buy it from you, or counterfeit, just copy it out of it, or not even pay you at all.
Diba? That's yung pitfall with our market, because our market don't really respect IP.
Yeah,
you would see that from anything here that like right now. I saw a post about Hasbro. A post about Hasbro posting the first season of Transformers, the original series, on YouTube. And I saw a lot of posts na, ano naman yan, ang tagal-tagal lang nakalagay yung full season sa ganito. Ganyan. So they don't realize that Hasbro owns it, and it's a big thing for a big company to put out yung content nila for free, because they'd rather get it illegally.
It's not free. They're earning from the ads.
Diba? They're earning from the ads.
It's better that they earn from the ads than someone else.
It shows you that na walang pake yung most of the market here of who owns what, and as long as they can get it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So that's a pitfall here. Here lang, as in most.
One of several pitfalls. But solutions are coming out, and all that discussion comes after you become a success, not before you become success.
Yeah.
This is completely different.
I think he was asking more. If I'm starting out, how can I earn from my comics?
Starting out.
Well, ang easiest answer would that be is to produce an actual product that you could sell.
Yeah.
Kasi yun, meron kang tangible na mahawakan nun na I profited from this for one day. Yung much deeper answer dan is maraming ways to monetize your IP right now. Like what Sir Lyndon is saying.
That's right.
One of them is nga yung machine na the Koreans developed, which was yung webtoons. You could get monetized in webtoons by having a specific amount of eyeballs that see your work. Aside from the usual system na medyo ni-nerf na rin, di ba? Yung Google AdSense was nerfed by Google themselves para di ganon kalaki yung kinikita mo doon. Pero that's still one avenue of earning. That's when you are starting out. And when Sir Lyndon said, if you have established a fan base, then you could branch out to doing merchandise like what he is doing with his IP. So you could sell it to your fan base. Like you could do t-shirts, you could do stickers, you could do t-shirts, mugs, and anything that you could slap
Stationery,
your brand into. Yun. So that's one way of earning from your comics. Though yun nga, you still have to grind to get a fan base. Another question na tinanong ni P. Ayan.
Additional, for starting out, non-fungible tokens. There was a kid now that earned like 240,000.
Yeah, I saw that. Pero that's research. Well, you do your research and you could earn something from things that older people like us don't understand. Or
yun daw yung maganda with things that people don't understand. They cannot copy what they can't understand.
Yeah, yun nga. Which is
yun why the successful apps and businesses are those that the older companies cannot copy or buy out. Like yung mga Yahoo messages or yung mga successful. Microsoft couldn't be able to develop their own messaging system because they don't understand. They have the set mindset. Yun daw maganda din. There's a whole Venn diagram discussing that there's this tiny bubble na if you can create something that other people can understand, the big players cannot understand, they cannot copy, and you can succeed. And you're protected.
You're protected for that time being until their R&D catches up and they do a more cost-efficient way to do it and then edge you out.
Or the younger people now come up with better ideas that you cannot understand.
Pero during that grace period, kasi I know a lot of people earned during nung time nung Google AdSense thing with their blogs and their sites until na-nerf yun. So, yun nga, until they figure out how to edge you out and they would earn more, you would earn during that time.
You would earn during that time. And it is a time for you to invest and develop and expand.
Pero yun nga, if you have money then, kasi make sure that you would keep yung money nyo wisely and you would kasi if you got money na parang free-flowing during that time, yung magiging pitfall nun is parang dali lang naman kumita ubusin.
Yeah, di ba? You become complacent. That's dangerous.
Yung next question ni Sir B was, can you earn a living out of making comics? And si Sir Lyndon is an answer to that question itself.
Yeah.
So yes,
you can.
Diba? Yes, diba? Like yung old adage, yung Filipino saying na if gusto mo talaga, may paraan. Kung medyo ayaw mo naman, laging may dahilan. Diba? Yeah. So it's either you do it and you find ways to earn from it or lagi kang may dahilan kung bakit hindi mo siya ginagawa. Yung third question ni Sir B was, how do I reach bigger market beyond conventions and events? Which is kind of hard. Well, now, mas na-open yung mind ng lahat since nobody's having events. So you have to do everything. You have to find a substitute for what you were having during that time.
You have to transition to online in a big way.
And na-touch upon na to ni Sir Lyndon kanina, technology has caught up with us that you could actually sell your books real-time online because of yung mga yung mga mobile devices natin that offers deliveries and other stuff. You could buy something off Facebook and then 30 minutes later, nasa yun na.
Yeah.
Or 15 minutes later nga lang if yung pinagbilhan mo was like several corners away lang ng bahay niyo. So yun nga. You just have to research ano yung mga available na services tayo. Like Grab, Lalamove, Mr. Speedy, the other Ninja Van, GoGo Express. I myself use GoGo Express and it has reached like General Santos City, which I did not know na nandun sa pinakadulo pala ng Philippines.
How dulo is dulo? Kasi Mindanao is dulo. But how dulo is dulo?
Yeah, as in dulo.
As a southern?
Dulo. It's the same way when we went to Ilocos and we went to Pagudpod. Nasa dulo siya dun sa other side.
Yeah.
General Santos is nandun sa dulo sa kabilang side.
Batanes na lang is the only more dulo. And the Babuyan Islands.
So, yun. Okay. So, it's very far away from here and I could send my books there through GoGo Express.
GoGo Express. And payment is great, grabe, no? Click na, yun na.
Yeah,
yun na
you don't need to have like, you don't need to go to the bank to get your money anymore.
That's a dated concept na.
Which is funny kasi Sherry was trying to get back into comic strip making, but yung only deterrent was she had to open an account in Land Bank. Which is parang, okay, wag na lang kasi I don't like to go out.
Diba? Don't go out. No, that's sad.
Pero diba, we have a lot of yung money remittance apps now that works well. Yeah. And
they're competing with each other and they're providing better services because of that.
And they're quite secure naman. Quite secure. I haven't had problems yet. So, wag sana ma-jinx, pero I haven't had problems yet.
No, there's always that. Philippines-wise.
So, yun yung questions. These are
you know what? PLDT upgraded yung internet to fiber na. I'm paying the same price but nag-boost by 4 times.
It's probably because of yung threat of having in yung...
The threat. They know they're gonna lose to yung mga Converge and they had to.
The Converge is suffering a lot from yung plug na kasi they have a lot of new clients now. So they accepted.
They want to expand agad
and you cannot compete with PLDT. It was like years and years of year na. Diba?
But it's technology, so you can also be dated. You can,
and that's why, diba? That's why ganun ka dinosaur-like yung move ni PLDT with their service. Kasi it's, ang laki-laki na nila.
Yeah.
And then parang pag minsan, do they really care na maayos yun? If they could like get new accounts na lang? Which is bad for yung company nila, but parang ganun na.
Don't be a dinosaur in technology. Although protected sila because ngayon pa lang nagkaroon ng 4th telecom. Ditto. Pero insular sila they prevented other players from coming in. Daw nagalit yung mga tao. Maybe. PLDT, Globe. The third one.
Okay. So, ayun nga, sir. With BEERKADA, like you said, pang ilang book na ulit yung Sudyakada?
19.
19 books. And from the 19 books, you've also done several other comic book stuff.
Yeah, other projects.
Like you did yung Sentai.
Sentai spin-off. My only graphic novel so far.
That's 2 parts, no? 2 parts.
2 parts. It's a lot of work.
Would you be open to doing more of that, or are you just focusing on the strips right now?
Right now, ang trend, based on profit alone, I'd rather do yung mga one-off projects, not yung mga work-intensive, then kukunti lang yung mga sales or So I'd rather do yung mga anything else. But I've got ideas din pala. There's expansion. Yung mga kids, yung mga children's books.
More on children's books. Which is a vacuum then actually right now sa market ng comic books. It's actual kids books.
Kids books.
For a medium that's most often associated with kids, you'd be hard-pressed to find any actual kids book in the market right now that is comic book. Local.
I have a child, so I've always planned when I have a child, I'll be inspired like see J.M. Barrie, Peter Pan, and
So we'd expect like a graphic novel, kids.
Not a graphic novel, something simpler.
Something simpler. A children's book.
Children's book, yeah. Text and then
an illustrated an illustrated story.
Yes,
for kids.
an illustrated story.
Okay. How do you come up with yung themes for yung mga compilations mo?
Well, I examine yung mga concepts that create a lot of interlinked visuals. Some work, some don't. But you have to think ahead. If something creates a lot of like for recently yung Zodiacada, what visuals come up when you say zodiac? Tarot, Chinese zodiac, yung mga
Zodiac killer.
Yung mga ephemera, yung mga Zoltan, the fortune telling. When you have 5 or 6 concept that can inspire a whole range of covers, Facebook banners, interior content, and merchandise, yun na. I think that's how I select it.
And yung content niya, is it geared toward that theme or yun lang talaga yung nagkataon na available?
That's just the icing on the cake. Iba yung cake.
Okay. So yung books, you did like graphic novels, books, compilation of strips. You've done yung anniversary book mo, what oversized yearbook type
yearbook.
Of any more future plans for your book, for your IP empire?
I wish, animation, no? Nag-breakthrough na with,
that's the next thing, no? That's the next
thing. That's the thing that will separate the big players na from every other guy, no? The things you can do with animation. Yun nga, it'll stand out. And you have to do it before everyone else. The whole thing becomes easy and everyone is making animation. So you can no longer stand out with that.
Yeah, but animation has been around like since forever and nobody has really found a way to make it easier.
Easier or cheaper.
Nobody ever did find that. Kasi yun nga, di ba? Now they're being exposed na yung animator salary should be better.
That's the argument there. You're just waiting for someone to blow the whole thing before.
Yun nga. I don't think that it would become any easier ever in the future. Kasi like our craft comic book, it's a whole art of its own. It's an actual art form talaga, yung pag-animate. And if mas ma-recognize yung animators as real artists then, ayun nga, it would be more expensive than to make animation. the same way that we are fighting for recognition for our medium, meron din silang gano'n.
May hang-ups na sila. Maybe you know what? Maybe one day the Philippines will also wake up to content creation, and the Philippine government will spend 1% of its GDP. But it has its own intrigue and issues, and it'll create content that's no longer as free. It's gonna be BTS now. It's very very slick, very well designed, appeals to a lot of people, but the authenticity won't be as apparent or prioritized. We could both hope and fear. And then
the Philippines, kasi diba, we know the talent is here. Kasi since
the talent is here.
We are like number one art service export sa neighborhood natin, Southeast Asia. We are one of yung number ones art export. Though tayo yung kulelat sa export ng content. So we do the content of other
original content.
We do the content of other people for them. That's what we do.
Mga mercenaries instead of
and right now I think meron tayong parang shift ng focus that there are certain individuals sa mga entities that are looking into investing in local content creation, which is okay. But like you said, it's meron yung pros and cons eh. So, I hope we do still have yung parang freedom that we have, that we can do anything that we like right now. Of course, you can still do that with yung investors. Pero once somebody with money comes in, kasi they'd expect then they'd have results. A say with not just results, but also have a say in what you produce.
Yeah.
Kasi it's their investment. Parang it's kind of like a pipe dream lang to have someone like pay you to do whatever you want. Because that's yung parang dream client of everyone. To have a client that would pay me to do my project, and then I'd still keep my project as my project. But parang that's just fiction. As in, saan ka makakahanap ng ganun?
Well, isn't that the whole YouTuber phenomenon and mga influencers?
But the YouTubers don't really need investors, diba? They invested them in themselves.
Diba? They don't get investors. They get yung mga
sponsors.
Sponsors.
Yeah, sponsors.
And all they do what they want to the boost of client. And maybe you can argue na it gets harder and harder to attract to keep the same eyeballs, and you're doing weird things na. And if you're
but it's different for creative content, diba? It's very different for creative content, especially if you're looking for someone to invest on your project.
Maybe it's just an opportunity to shift or develop an entirely new
YouTube
field.
Content creation is so different kasi you could easily like shill products from it. Pero imagine if you are doing like a movie, diba? If you're doing a movie, and then it will become like yung mga hate nating spills dun sa mga local movies natin that have sponsors na biglang gumagamit ako ng Nescafe kasi yung Nescafe. Diba? And then you would have that, and then it would destroy yung spirit of what you're doing. So yeah, it's yung medyo tricky, but hopefully they would find something that would work for everyone.
Well, even then, I'm suspect it's just a couple of years before someone comes up and disrupts the whole system again. It happens.
Mm-hmm. So, where can your fans know, where can our viewers find your socials so that they can follow you?
On Facebook, it's BEERKADA Komiks, one word. Same as Instagram, BEERKADA Komiks. My current site is down, BEERKADA.net. I hope to fix it promptly. And that's it. That's it. I don't want to mess too much with everything else, so I can focus on the content.
Yun. Where can they buy your books?
You can buy it from the Facebook. There's a link, or I can just give it to you straight, bit.ly/BEERKADA. Capital BUY, capital BEERKADA. And it sends you to an order form.
Yun. Okay. So yun, for all our viewers, support Sir Lyndon's book. He has a new book out. Brand new since August, no? August pa. No?
Last day?
No, it's second to the last day. Penultimate day. Well, this video will come out around September. So, bago pa rin yung book na yun.
Okay.
And follow our pages, Komikon. We don't know kung ano pa yung meron kami sa November, but probably have something for November. And yeah, thank you sa lahat na nanonood. Thank you sa ating guest, kay Sir Lyndon. And
thank you for having me, John.
Please do leave a like, share this to your friends, subscribe if you can. And if you don't like to subscribe, every 4 p.m. yung upload ko ng ating Kwentuhan with our comics creators. Thank you, Sir Lyndon. Thank you sa lahat.
Thank you, John. Ingat.